Cambridge International School, DASUYA, a vassal education school. Hello friends, I am Radha, working as PGT Business Studies at Cambridge International School, DASUYA. Students, as you know, we were studying planning chapter and we have completed it successfully. And today we are going to discuss different variety of case studies from planning chapter and previous year's board questions. So today our learning objective will be students will gain proficiency in solving case studies and previous year's board questions from the chapter planning. So let us start with the first case study. Superfine Rice Limited has the largest share of 55% in the market. The company's policy is to sell only for cash. In 2015, for the first time, company's number one position in the industry has been threatened because other companies started selling rice on credit also. But the managers of Superfine Rice Limited continued to rely on its previously tried and tested successful plans which did not work because the environment is not static. This led to decline in sales of Superfine Rice Limited. The above situation is indicating two limitations of planning which led to decline in its sales. Identify these limitations. Students, now we are studying about the limitations of planning. So here two plannings are mentioned. First is planning does not guarantee success. Students, here the line is given Superfine Rice Limited continued to rely on its previously tried and tested successful plans which did not work because the environment is not static. Now here two limitations are mentioned. First, because they were trying to use previously tried and tested plans but they could not work because the environment is not static. Why? Because their competitors, they started selling rice on credit. So we need to modify our plans according to the need, situations or changing environment of business. Second thing, whatever plans we are going to make, it will work or not, no one knows. So we need to see that we need to implement in a right manner at a right time as well as according to the dynamic environment. Now second question is, state the main aspects in the concept of planning. This question has come in sample paper 2017. Students, three main aspects are there in the concept of planning. The concept of planning primarily involves three aspects, namely setting objectives in clear, specific and measurable terms for a given period of time. That means first what we have to do in the planning, we need to set our objectives, goals, targets, and it should be clear. And you must know, or we have discussed earlier, that SMART objectives should be there. SMART objective, specific objective, measurable, achievable, realistic and time bound. So that first we need to set clear and specific measurable objectives and measurable terms for a given period of time. Second, what we need to do under planning, we need to identify the various alternative courses of action which may be adopted to achieve the objective. Means whatever objective we have set, now how to achieve it. Under planning, we need to make a list of various alternative courses of action and then we need to select the best possible alternative course of action from among the various courses of action available. Means first we need to set the objective. Second, we need to identify all alternative course of action. It means all ways how we can achieve our objective. Then we will not use all the ways. We need to choose best one, or sometimes we need to combine 2-3 ways. So last is we need to select the best possible alternative course of action so that we can achieve our objective. So these are the three main aspects in the concept of planning. Students must consider, must revise this question carefully because it can come in future questions. So three aspects are there, that setting objectives, identify alternative courses of action and select the best possible alternative course of action. Now next question is, state any 3 points of importance of planning, function of management. So this is a direct question. So we can discuss here direct questions also. because it has come in 2017. So we need to write the importance of planning. So 3 points indicating the importance of planning is described below. First, it helps to reduce the risk of uncertainty. Students, planning relates to deciding in advance about the task to be performed in future. This enable a manager to make a good plan so that we can handle changes, or we can say anticipate changes. We can handle changes and devise the way to deal with changes and uncertain events effectively. That means we will make good plan so that whatever uncertain events will come, uncertain changes will be there, changes in the business environment, we will be able to handle effectively and efficiently. Next importance is planning promotes innovative ideas. Planning is one of the basic managerial function. Every manager has to perform this. Before doing something means it is a thinking function. The manager must formulate an idea of how to work on a particular task, means whatever objective we have set, how to achieve it, what we have to do so that we can achieve our objective. Thus, planning is closely connected with creativity and innovation. It means that what we have to do here, we need to use our mind, application of innovation, or we can say imagination, intelligent imagination, sound judgment. These all will be applied so that we can make a very good plan which will help us to achieve an organizational goal, and it includes creativity and innovation. It is the most challenging activity for the management as it guides all future actions and leading to growth and prosperity of the business. Now, third is avoiding overlapping and wasteful activities. Yes, planning helps to save our resources and helps to avoid duplicacy of activities or useless activities. Planning ensures clarity in thought and action. That means what we have to achieve and how we have to achieve. These all things we will plan in advance, and it serve as the basis of coordination, coordinating the activities and efforts of different individuals and departments. Means clear planning, that clear focus on objectives and how to achieve it. If all employees will come to know that what will be their contribution, what they have to do, at what time they have to do, then they will be able to coordinate with each other, they will be able to support with each other. And by making plans in advance, it helps to avoid useless and unnecessary activities. It helps in smooth working of the organization, so work will be done without any interruption. Moreover, it makes detection of inefficiency easier. That means we will be able to find inefficiencies, mistakes easily, and so that timely corrective measures may be taken to avoid them in future. Now, next question is, that is also direct question, and it has come for 3 marks in 2017 CBSE Delhi. State any 3 features of planning. Students, now CBSE is asking specific questions for specific marks. If they are asking 3 features, 3 marks, 4 features, 4 marks. So in this way, or sometimes they are asking 2 features for 4 marks. So each will be for 2 marks. So now we need to explain 3 features of planning. These are described below. First is planning is pervasive. Pervasive means all round, or we can say universal. Planning is not a special function. It is equally essential at all the levels of management, whether it is a top, middle or lower, and whatever kind of organization, whether it is a manufacturing or it is a service sector, whether it is in public sector or private sector, everywhere planning is required. So, but the scope of planning means how we are going to use the plan, it varies. It is different at different levels and among different departments. We are making different plans according to the nature of business, size of business, and according to the different departments and levels. Planning involves decision making. Student, this is most important thing. Here we are going to take the decision, and decisions we are taking by analyzing all the alternatives, and then we need to choose the best one. So when alternatives are given, then only choice will be there. You have to take the decision which is the best alternative. You need to go, you need to choose, so that you can achieve your desired goal efficiently and effectively. So where there is a choice, decision making will be there and planning is there. If there is no choice, no planning is there. Planning is a primary function, students, that this is the first function which is performed by every manager. Organizing, staffing, directing, controlling, these all functions comes after planning only. So this is a primary function, and primary planning provide base for all other functions. Now next question is, this is case study based question. Suhasini, a home science graduate from a reputed college, has recently done a cookery course. She wished to start her own venture, business with a goal to provide healthy food at reasonable prices. She discussed her idea with her teacher, who encouraged her. After analyzing various options for starting her business venture, they shortlisted the option to sell ready-made and ready-to-make vegetable vegetable shakes and sattu milkshakes. Then they weighed the pros and cons of both the shortlisted options, name the function of management being discussed above and give any one of its characteristics, and briefly discuss any three limitations of the function discussed in the above case. Now students, they have not given you the concept. That means this is planning function and you need to write limitations or characteristics. Students, here they are asking identify the function of management. Now you know there are 5 functions of management: planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. Now this is a challenging question for you, because now you have to first find which function is mentioned here, whether it is a planning, organizing, staffing or directing or controlling. So if in this question that they have given that she wants to start her new venture and she discussed idea with her teacher, and they were going to analyze all the options. So it is from the process of planning, where we need to analyze, identify the alternative course of action given, and then they have shortlisted it. So this is the planning function, where they are going to weigh the pros and cons of both the shortlisted option. So these all the lines that they are going to hint about, they are giving hint about the planning function. So there we are going to analyze different alternative courses of action, and then we need to choose the best one by comparing their pros and cons, by comparing their merits and demerits. So the first answer is the function of management is discussed here, that is planning. Then we need to write its characteristics and then 3 limitations. Now planning is the function of management, because they have told about, they have discussed about, they have mentioned about the planning, analyzing the alternative courses of action, and they are going to comparing their pros and cons. So it is indicating the planning function. Now what is the characteristic given? It involves decision making. Yes, we need to involve application of rational thinking to choose the best alternative among the various available alternatives in order to achieve the desired goals effectively and efficiently. So this is the characteristic given here. Then we need to write the limitations of planning. Sometimes students, they are asking the particular limitation is given in the above case study, and then we need to quote and then we need to write. But here they have not given anything, so we need to write anything. So that means now it will be easy for us to write any point of limitation here. But if they have mentioned in the above case study and they are asking by quoting the lines, write the limitations which are discussed above, then you need to find out and then you need to write the particular limitation of planning. But here we can write according to our wish. So planning may not work in a dynamic environment. Planning reduces creativity. Planning involves huge cost. So you can read it in detail. Now the next question is, 2 years ago Madhu completed her degree in food technology. She worked for some time in a company that manufactured chutneys, pickles and murabbas. She was not happy in the company and decided to have her own organic food processing unit. For the same, she set the objectives and the targets and formulated an action plan to achieve the same. One of her objectives was to earn 10% profit on the amount invested in the first year. It was decided that raw materials like fruits, vegetables, spices, etc. will be purchased on 3 months credit from farmers cultivating only organic crops. She also decided to follow the steps required for marketing of the products through her own outlets. She appointed Mohan as the production manager who decided the exact manner in which the production activities were to be carried out. Mohan also prepared a statement showing the number of workers that will be required in the factory throughout the year. Madhu informed Mohan about her area wise sales targets for different products for the forthcoming quarter. While working on the production table, a penalty of rupees 100 per day for not wearing caps, gloves, and apron was announced. Quoting lines from the above paragraph identify and explain the different types of plans discussed above. Students, I would like to suggest you one thing, that before reading the case study, must read the question first. Because by reading the question, sometimes it will give you a clear idea that you need to focus only on types of plans. Sometimes they are asking you to identify the concept. Then you need to think in detail that about all the six or all the 12 chapters and which topic is mentioned. But sometimes they have given very clear that yes, you need to think about different types of plans. Now by reading question, now throughout the case study, that your focus will be on types of plans only. It will save your time, energy and efforts. So now the answer is the different types of plans discussed above are listed below. First is objective. How we came to know that objective type of plan is given here? Now the lines. Through this we came to know. One of her objective was to earn 10% profit on the amount invested in the first year. So what are the objectives? Objectives are the end results of the activities that an organization wants to achieve till the existence is there. All other activities within the organization are directed towards achieving these objectives. Second is given policy. From which line we came to know? It was decided that, second line, it was decided that raw materials like fruits, vegetables, spices, etc. will be purchased on 3 months credit from farmer cultivating only organic crops. Policy, that means it is a general guideline. It helps in managerial decision making and action. That means you are going to set purchase policy, credit policy, how you are going to purchase a particular thing. Next type of plan is procedure. Procedure contains a series of specific steps to be performed in a chronological order to carry out the routine activities. That means whatever task we want to perform, we will divide it into specific steps, and that steps we will perform in order only, chronological order, in sequence only, and that sequence we need to follow throughout the activity. So these that she has to decide that steps required for marketing of the products through her own outlets, the exact manner in which the production activities are to be carried out. So in this way you need to quote the lines, and student, no need to write full sentence. You can go for she also decided, then dash dash dash, then to be carried out. In this way you can save your time. So by quoting the lines, if they are asking in question, then only you need to quote the line. And if they are asking about that write any types of plan, then you can write. If they are asking identify the type of plan mentioned in the case study, then you will identify by quoting the line and then you will explain it. If identification is given, as you will identify only. If explanation is also asked, then you will explain also. Then rule. While working on the production table, this is the line from where we came to know that rule is the type of plan mentioned in the above case study. While working on the production table, a penalty of rupees 100 per day for not wearing caps, gloves and apron was announced. So rules, these are the specific statement relating to general norms, what we can do and what we cannot do. It guides the behavior of people. It commands strict obedience, means we need to follow without any relaxation, and penalty is likely to be imposed on its violation. If we don't follow any rule, then penalty will be there. Then next, last one, budget is mentioned also there. Budget, it is a financial plan that is expressed in numerical terms. In quantitative form, it is mentioned. We are going to prepare a statement, for example, showing a number of workers required for the manufacturing the products throughout the year or for forthcoming quarter. And we can say that budget for cash budget, sales budget, that means whatever activity you are going to do, that how much expenditure will be there. So these are the things you are going to express in numerical term. This is called budget. Now next question is direct question, came in 2017. Give the meaning of strategy and rule. Strategy, it is a detailed plan. We are going to prepare for winning over the given challenges or problem. That means future is uncertain. By predicting in advance, you are going to prepare a detailed plan. How will you achieve that particular plan or particular objective? And it is based on the objectives of the organization. And strategy, it is prepared by top level or middle level management. Then rules, and there you can study from the book also regarding strategy and rule. You can, and you will note down in point form only. No need to go for writing in a paragraph. Long paragraph is not allowed. You need to write in point form only. Rules are specific statements that tell people what should or what should not be done. Violation of rules may lead to imposition of penalties, and rules helps to maintain discipline. Rules are both specific and rigid. Rigid means rules are never changed. That means you need to follow as it is. No relaxation will be there. No smoking, no parking. It is a type of standing plan. Now next question. Before reading case study, they are asking about the above paragraph describes one of the limitation of planning function of management. Name and explain that limitation. Now here you need to think about limitations of planning. So by reading the above case study, you need to keep in your mind, you need to identify the limitation of planning. That means points of limitations of planning, and then you need to name it and explain it. Rahul, a worker, is given a target of assembling 2 computers per day. Due to his habit of doing things differently, an idea struck him which would not only reduce the assembling time of computers but would also reduce the cost of production of the computers. Instead of appreciating him, Rahul's supervisor ordered him to complete the work as per the methods and techniques decided earlier, as nothing could be changed at that stage. The above paragraph describe one of the limitation of the planning. Planning, that is function of the management. Name and explain that limitation. Now here the limitation of planning is given, that is planning reduces creativity. Why it reduces creativity? Because generally top level people, they are going to plan, they are going to make policies, procedures, objectives, they are going to set these all things. And other members, other people from lower department, lower level or middle level, they just need to implement these plans as it is. They cannot bring any change in them, or they are not able to add any creativity, innovation in that. So it restricts the creativity of the middle level manager, as they are neither allowed to deviate from plans, means they can't add anything, they can't delete anything, nor permitted to act on their own. So it helps to reduce the creativity. Next question is direct question. They are asking about the meaning of objective and procedure. Objectives already we have done. These are the objectives. These are the end results which every organization wants to achieve. And objectives, these provides a direction to all the other activities, to other departments. And objectives are determined by top level management. For example, that objective of a newly started company is to earn 30% on the amount invested in the first year. And management should try to set objectives in quantitative form as far as possible, because it will be easy to understand, easy to achieve, easy to set. Then procedure, it is a combination, it contains a series of specific steps. That means sequence of some steps which we need to perform to in order only, in a sequence only, so that whatever task we want to accomplish, that can be done. It is determined by lower and middle level management. It is a specific statement. There is no scope for managerial discretion. It means that what are the steps in the sequence we have decided, that we have to follow as it is. We can't add anything in that. Procedure is framed to implement a policy. It is a type of standing plan. Now next question, in this also they are asking one of the limitation of planning function of management. So now we need to think about the limitations of planning only. Okay, so now question is, Rahul, a worker, is given a target of assembling 2 computers per day. Due to his habit of doing things differently, an idea struck him which would not only reduce the assembling time of computers but would also reduce the cost of production of the computers. Instead of appreciating him, Rahul's supervisor ordered him to complete the work as per the methods and techniques decided earlier, as nothing could be changed at that stage. The above paragraph describes one of the limitation of planning function of management. Name and explain that limitation. Now answer. The limitation of planning is planning reduces creativity. The top management undertakes planning of various policies and procedures, whereas the other members, they have to just implement these plans as it is. So it restricts their creativity, innovation, and they are neither allowed to deviate from plans nor permitted to act on their own. Now the next question is, they are asking about the function of management. Identify and explain the function of management being discussed in the above line. Which limitation of the function of management as identified in the given question? So students, now this question is tricky. You need to first identify the function of management. You know there are 5 functions of management. First is planning, then organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. So here you need to think about all 5 functions of management, and by reading the case study you need to identify which function of management is identified, which is mentioned here, and then you need to write its limitation. So now let us read the question. Case study. Josh Limited is one of the largest two-wheeler manufacturer in India. It has a market share of about 42% in the two-wheeler category. The company had witnessed almost a 35% drop in the booking, as the currency crunch was prompting people to withhold new purchases due to demonetization. Therefore, the production manager of the company had decided to align production to factor in slower sales in the market. In context of the above case, you need to identify the function of management and then you need to write the limitation. Thinking about that how they can grab the market. The planning function is the function of management which is being discussed in the above lines. Planning help us in deciding in advance what to do, how to do, when to do, and who has to do it. Thus, it involves in setting objectives and developing an appropriate course of action. That means first we need to set the objective, then we need to decide that with the help of which course of action we are going to achieve that particular objectives. So we need to think in advance about the future. So here the production manager is trying to overcome the 2 following limitations of planning. Means first we need to identify the function of management, that was planning. Now which limitations are given above? Rigidity, and planning may not work in dynamic environment. When circumstances situation changes, then that time also planning may not work. So that whatever plans you have decided, you have designed in the past, maybe they will not work in the future because of changing conditions. And plans are always rigid. Once you have decided, you have prepared, you have designed a plan, it is very difficult to change. And sometimes if we have to change, it prove costly. Now the next question, here they are asking about the type of one of the function of management being discussed in the above case study. Now it is also related to the functions of management. So 5 functions are there. You need to see that in the given case study which function is mentioned here. The term demonetization has become a household name since the government pulled the old rupees 500 and rupees 1000 notes out of circulation in November 2016. Prior to the year 2016, the Indian government had demonetized banknotes on 2 prior occasions, once in the year 1946 and then again in the year 1978. In both cases, the purpose was to combat tax evasion by black money. Identify the type of one of the function of management being discussed in the above line. Students, here answer is objectives and strategy. That means planning function of management is mentioned here, and here the type of one of the function of management, it means they are asking about the type of planning. The type of planning here, purpose, when we are talking about that purpose of demonetization, that means we want tax evasion by black money, and then we wanted that here strategy means how we could recover that black money, that with the help of demonetization. This was the detailed plan to achieve a particular desired goal. So objective and strategy was mentioned here. Now in next question they are asking about identify and explain the types of plans. So here also you need to focus only on types of plans. Now the question we will read, the arrangement to demonetize the rupees 500 and rupees 1000. Students, in place of question mark you need to understand it in the form of rupees 500 and rupees 1000 banknotes began 6 to 10 months prior to the public announcement and was kept highly confidential. The cabinet was informed about the demonetization on 8th November 2016 in a meeting called by the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi. This was followed by Modi's public announcement about the demonetization in a televised address where he announced that currency notes with the denomination of rupees 500 and rupees 1000 would cease to be the legal tender from 9th of November 2016. The most interesting thing regarding the demonetization is that people were devising various unique ways for transforming their black money into white, one by depositing money in the accounts of their poor relatives and friends, converting black money into gold, paying a few months' salaries in advance, and so on. So, in context of the above case, identify and explain the types of plans being discussed in the above lines with regard to demonetization. Now the answer is the various types of plans being discussed in the above lines with regard to demonetization are detailed below. Procedure, that means how they wanted to go for the process of demonetization. It is a series of chronological steps which are performed to do a particular activity. For demonetization, what are the steps decided by the government and they followed it. And then rule. A rule is a specific statement relating to the general norm in terms of do's and don'ts that guide the behavior of people. Rules, that means it tells us what we can do and what we cannot do. Now next question, also they are asking about identify and explain the different types of plans being used by Flipkart by quoting lines from the paragraph. Students must read question carefully. What they are asking, and according to the question only you need to write answer. If they are asking about identification, then you need to identify only. If they are asking identify and explain, you need to explain. If they are asking by quoting the line, then only you need to quote the line. Otherwise you don't need to quote the line. So keep remember that you need to read question carefully. Some students make this mistake, they don't read question carefully and then they did not get full marks. Now the case study is Flipkart is an e-commerce company Founded in the year 2007 by Sachin Bansal and Binny Bansal, the company is registered in Singapore but has its headquarters in Bengaluru, India. The company seeks to increase traffic and boost sales and revenue through integration of mobile apps, display, pay-per-clicks, and search engine optimization. In order to dispel the fear of people related to shopping online, Flipkart was the first company to implement the popular cash on delivery facility. All the products sold by the company under a particular category may have different return replacement period. Flipkart allows multiple payment options such as cash on delivery, credit or debit card transactions, net banking, e gift voucher, and card swipe on delivery. The company operates both ways when an order is received. The products for which it holds inventory are dispatched by it directly. For the products they do not store in inventory, they just send the order received by them to the supplier who ships it. The company plans to spend about rupees 75 crores on e-commerce advertising in the year 2016. Flipkart reserves the right to terminate your membership and or refuse to provide you with access to the website if it is brought to Flipkart's notice or if it is discovered that you are under the age of 18 years. This is because, as per the Indian Contract Act 1872, the minors, undischarged insolvents, etc., are not eligible to use the website. In context of the above case, identify and explain the different types of plans being used by Flipkart by quoting lines from the paragraph. Now the answer different types of plans being used by Flipkart. Now I will not describe these types of plans in detail because already we have done it. Now just I will read the lines, that lines through which we came to know this is the particular type of plan. First objective, the company seeks to increase traffic and boost sales and revenue through integration of mobile apps, display, clicks and search engine optimization. That means it is called objective. Then strategy, where you are going to prepare a detailed plan. In order to dispel the fear of people related to shopping online, Flipkart was the first company to implement the popular cash on delivery facility. And then they have given other ways also how we can go for paying our payments. Then next is policy. All the products sold by a company under a particular category may have different return or replacement periods. Means for these are the general guidelines which help you to you can work smoothly, internal functioning of the organization smoothly. So it is done by policy which provide the general guidelines for making decisions. Then method, Flipkart allows multiple payment options such as cash on delivery, credit or debit cards, transaction, net banking, e-gift voucher and card swipe on delivery. So method, this is the prescribed way or manner in which task we can perform. Then procedure. Procedure contains series of steps. Or we can say that steps are given in a sequence, chronological order and to do a particular job. So here the company operates both ways when an order is received. The product for which it holds inventory are dispatched by it directly. For the products they do not store in inventory, they just send the order received by them to supplier who ships it. So this is the procedure. And then they are talking about budget. Financial plan that is expressed in numerical terms. Company plans to spend rupees 75 crores on e-commerce advertising in the year 2016. This is called budget. Then rule. Flipkart reserve the right to terminate your membership or refuse to provide you with access to the website if you are under age of 18. So this is the rule you have to follow. Now in next question also they are asking about identify two different types of plans mentioned in the above case and you need to identify it by quoting the lines. And now question is case study. Rajinder has been running a successful business of manufacturing traditional wedding wear for women including saris and lehengas. His friend Surinder, who is engaged in the business of providing web designing solutions to his clients, suggests him to explore the option of selling his products online. Rajinder agrees to his suggestion and decides to venture into online business, keeping in view the various e-commerce regulations in order to avoid imposition of any penalty. In order to facilitate the sale of his products, Rajinder decides to offer multiple payment options such as cash on delivery, credit or debit card transaction, net banking to the buyers, etc. In context of the above case, identify two different types of plans mentioned in the above paragraph that relate to the online portal that Rajinder intends to start by quoting lines from the paragraph. Distinguish between the two types of plans as identified in part A. So student, in this question, first they are asking that identify the two different types of plans which are mentioned in the above case study, and then that you need to distinguish between both. So students, if your part A will be right, then only part B will be right. So read it carefully and identify answer very carefully. Now, rule and methods are two different types of plans that relate to online portal that Rajinder intends to start. Rajinder agrees to his suggestion and decides to venture into online business, keeping in view the various e-commerce regulations. They are talking about rules, regulations, so that he can avoid any kind of penalty. So this is rule. And then he decides to offer multiple payment options such as cash on delivery, credit or debit card transaction, net banking. That means how payment can be done. So this is the method. So these two types of plans he has used in this case study. Now we need to differentiate between both rule and method. Rules are specific statements that tell us that what should or what should not be done. But methods, these are the prescribed specific standard way of performing a particular job or particular activity. Then violation of rules may lead to imposition of penalty, means violation of rules leads to penalty only, and methods does not involve any penalty on violation. Rules purpose is to maintain discipline, and method we can perform any task efficiently and effectively by following a prescribed or proper method. Rules are both specific and rigid, means for specific nature, and rigid we cannot change it. And methods are specific but flexible, means according to need, according to requirement changes, we can change the methods. For example, no smoking, no parking, these are the examples of rule. And method of payment, of fee check, cash, online, debit card, credit card, these are the methods. Now next question. Here also they are asking about two types of plans, that identify the types of plan and differentiate between the two types of plans. So B part is based on A part. If you are able to identify the type of plan, then your second differentiation that also will be right. If A part is wrong, your B part also will be wrong. So read it carefully, solve it carefully. Now we will read the case study. Wazir Ahmad joins Ashiana Limited, a company dealing in a real estate, that means property dealer. As a human resource manager, through a series of interactions with his team during lunch breaks, he comes to know that quite a few managers at middle and senior levels have recently left the organization as their promotions were overdue. There, in order to reinstate the confidence of the staff, he lays out a clear cut plan consisting of a set of general guidelines for both time bound and performance related appraisals of the managers at all levels. Moreover, he develops standardized processes containing a series of steps specified in chronological order for its implementation. Students, that series of steps in chronological order, it indicates us the procedure. And then they are asking about identify the two different types of plans that Wazir Ahmad proposes to implement in order to reinstate the confidence of the staff by quoting lines from the paragraph. Students, here you need to quote lines also, and then you need to distinguish between two types of plans identified in part A. Now the answer is policy and procedure. I told you series of steps, that is procedure. Policy. He lays out a clear-cut plan consisting of a set of general guidelines. Students, here they are going to say that these are the general guidelines and for a particular time period, and you need to prepare a performance appraisal report of the managers at all the levels. So it is indicating about the policy type of plan and procedure. Moreover, he develops standardized processes containing a series of steps. So these are the two lines. By quoting these lines, you can mention your answer, and then we need to differentiate. Now the difference between both policy and procedure. Policy, these are the general statement, general guidelines that guide managerial decision making, means which helps to guide the manager to take a right decision. Procedure, it is a series of chronological steps in a order, in a sequence, which are performed to do a particular activities. And policy, it is designed by top level management. Procedure, it is done by lower and middle management. Expression, it is a general statement, general guideline, that means it helps in decision making. But procedure, it is a specific statement, means particular task how it can be done by following series of steps. And its scope, it provides scope for managerial discretion. That policy, that means manager, they can use their wisdom how they can take the right decision. And procedure, there is no scope for managerial discretion. That means you cannot add your creativity, innovation. As it is, you need to follow all these steps. Policies are framed to achieve the objective of an organization, and they all guide in implementing the strategy. And procedure, it is framed to implement a policy. Now in this question also they are asking, in context of the above case, identify two different types of plans and then distinguish between the two types of plans. Now question is case study. Apna Ghar, a company dealing in consumer durables, plans to increase the sales of its products by 25% around Diwali this year. Moreover, in order to cash on the implementation of the 7th pay commission by that time, which is likely to raise the income of 47 lakhs serving employees of the central government and 52 lakh pensioners, the company has created 30 advertisement films which will be aired across 85 national and regional channels until Diwali. In context of the above case, identify the two different types of plans that Apna Ghar proposes to implement by quoting lines from the paragraph. Distinguish between the two types of plans as identified in part 1. So students, you must have seen that many questions have come from types of plan. So you need to revise this topic very carefully, thoroughly, so that you will be able to identify the types of plan. Now the answer is objective and strategy. These are the two different types of plans that Apna Ghar proposes to implement. How we came to know? A company dealing in consumer durables plans to increase sales of its products by 25% around Diwali this year. Means their target, their aim, their objective was to increase their sales by 25% around Diwali. And then strategy. Objective means what you want to do, and strategy how you can achieve it. So moreover, in order to cash on the implementation of the 7th pay commission by that time, which is likely to raise the income of 47 lakh serving employees of the central government and 52 lakhs pensioners, the company has created 30 advertisement films which will be aired across 85 national and regional channels until Diwali. Means how they can increase their sales by 25%, and it can be done with the help of strategy. In strategy, we are going to prepare a detailed plan. Difference between both objective and strategy. Here also first you need to identify the right type of plan mentioned in the case study, and then second question will be based on first part. Now objectives, these are the end results of the activities that an organization seeks to achieve through its existence. Strategy, it is a detailed comprehensive plan prepared for winning over the given challenge or problem. Means whatever targets are there, how we can handle it, what are the challenging challenges are there, problems are there, how we are going to handle them by preparing a comprehensive detailed plan. Source. Objectives are based on the mission or philosophy of the organization. Objectives are based on the mission. That means what you want to achieve in the future. Strategy, it is based on the objective of the organization. That means what are your objective? How will you achieve it? With the help of strategy, we are going to achieve. Objectives are determined by top level management, and strategy may be determined by top level or middle level management. Now next question they are asking, now student, this is a different question. They are asking about explain the points highlighting the importance of planning. Students, you need to read, you need to revise all the points of all the topics very carefully, thoroughly, in detail. Because if they are asking about importance of planning, just immediately it should come in your mind that yes, these all are the points of importance of planning, and then out of these you need to identify which is mentioned in the given case study. So each point you need to learn, you need to revise by writing. Then only you will be able to keep remember for a long time. And so many importances are there, so many limitations are there. From each chapter you will see limitations are there, importances are there, features are there. So that you need to revise it thoroughly. Then only you will be able to identify from the given case study. After completing a diploma in bakery and patisserie, Payal sets up a small outlet at Goa airport to provide a healthy food option to the traveler. To begin with, she has decided to sell 5 types of patties, 3 types of pizzas, and low sugar muffin in 4 flavors. Thus, by deciding in advance what to do and how to do, she is able to reduce the risk of uncertainty and avoid overlapping and wasteful activities. But sometimes her planning does not work due to some unavoidable circumstances like cancellation of flights due to bad weather conditions, government alerts, etc., which adversely affects her clientele. In context of the above case, identify and explain the points highlighting the importance of planning mentioned in the above paragraph. Described briefly the limitation of planning which adversely affects Payal's business. There is here the points highlighting the importance of planning mentioned in the above paragraph. Students, if it is written in the question that you need to identify the points of importance of planning which are mentioned in the above paragraph, then you will not write importance points from your own wish. That you need to identify which are given in the case study. That only you need to identify, you need to explain as per the question. So here I will not explain these points, but just I will read the points of importance. It helps to reduce the risk of uncertainty. It helps to avoid overlapping and wasteful activities. And then limitation, planning may not work in a dynamic environment. You can read it thoroughly from the given case study. Now the next question they are asking about the name the function of management, and then explain the various steps involved in the process. So students, first you need to identify the function of management, then you need to see that the process involved here. Now I will read the case study. Agile Limited is a well-known automobile manufacturing company in India. The company plans to increase the sale of its sedan cars by 20% in the next quarter. In order to achieve that desired target, the marketing team of the company considers the impact of policy of the government towards diesel vehicles and the level of competition in this segment of cars. They explore the various available options like offering more discounts to dealers and customers providing more customer friendly finance options, lucky draws on test drives, increasing advertising, offering more of free accessories on the purchase of the car, etc. A thorough analysis of the various available options is done, keeping in view the relative viability of each option. The company decides to pursue the option of the offering more discount to dealers and customers in order to boost the sale of sedan cars. In order to implement the plan, they determine the various discount packages and communicate the same to their product dealers. To make the prospective consumers aware about the new available benefits, advertisements are made through various sources of print and electronic media. The market analysts of the company keep a close watch on the revenue from the sedan cars to study the effect of new initiatives by the company to promote its sales. Now, in context of the above case, name the function of management, describe in the above paragraph, identify and explain the various steps involved in the process of the function of management as identified in part A by quoting lines from the above paragraph. Students, here that there are I think four questions are involved. Name the function of management, identification of steps, explain the steps, and by quoting the lines. So, planning is the function of management which is being described in the above paragraph. Now, steps involved in the planning process: setting objectives, developing premises, identifying alternative course of action. First, that means this is the first step of process of planning where you need to set the objectives, and objectives we can set for the whole organization or for each department or unit within the organization. For example, the company quoting the lines which indicate us the type of plan. The company plans to increase the sale of its sedan cars by 20% in next quarter. So this is an objective. Then developing premises. Developing premises, the lines are: in order to achieve the desired target, the marketing team of the company consider the impact of policy of the government towards diesel vehicle and level of competition in this segment of cars. That means they are going to assume something, forecasting that they are going to predict something. That means impact of policy of government towards diesel vehicle, and based on assumptions they are taking the decision. Then identify alternative course of action. You need to make a list of alternative ways, and lines are: they explore the various available options like offering more discount to dealers and customer providing more customer satisfaction dash 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 to car. Then evaluating alternative courses, you need to compare. A thorough analysis of various available option is done keeping in view the relative viability of each option. So this is related to evaluation. Then selection, the company decide to pursue the option of offering more discount to dealers and customers in order to boost the sale. Means which option they have selected, that means more discount will be offered to the dealers and customers. Then implementation of plan. In order to implement the plan, they determine the various discount packages and communicate the same to their product dealers. To make the prospective consumers aware about the new available benefits, advertisements are made through various sources of print and electronic media. That means now they are going to put into action the plan which they have designed. Now that will be put into action. Then last is follow up action. That means now we need to monitor all the activities, and so that we can ensure the objectives which we have decided that are achieved efficiently and effectively. And the lines, the market analyst of the company keep a close watch on the revenue from the sedan car to study the effect of new initiative by the company to promote its sales. भाई क्या रिजल्ट रहा जो भी उन्होंने अपना सीडन कार के ऊपर इन्वेस्टमेंट की, उससे क्या रेवेन्यू आया. द कंपनी कीप्स अ close watch on this. So students, we conclude our lesson here. So today we have discussed about the case studies and previous year's board questions, and students, so you need to write answer of these questions in your fair notebook. In case of any query, any doubt, you can contact me anytime. Stay home, stay safe and keep studying.